Welcome back to the Webleedpixels podcast.
I'm your host T,
And I'm your co-host V.
and on today's episode, we have a interview, we have gaming news, and we have a little bit of what we've been doing for the past 2 weeks.
It's been a very exciting 2 weeks.
It's been an amazing 2 weeks. Oh my, the thing which I need to talk about, and I've been like, I need to talk about it. Pokemon.
Speak on it.
Pokemon. Earlier last week, I see I'm too excited. Earlier last week, they done a Pokemon Direct, which was a 28-minute long presentation about all the new up-and-coming Pokemon games which they've been doing. I don't care about the other ones, but the ones which I do care about is the fact of that they gave us news on Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. It's okay news. It's not fantastic, but it's getting there. It's good news. The thing which I'm really excited for is that they've gave off some new forms, like because we had Galarian forms in Pokemon Sword and Shield, we had Alolan forms in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and in this game, in Legends of Arceus, we get, I'm going to pronounce this completely wrong, Hisuian form. And we get a Bravery Hisuian form and a Growlithe. The Growlithe looks adorable. But while they didn't just do that, they also went one step forward and they gave us evolutions for Pokemon who is kind of overlooked and like just a bit like lackluster kind of Pokemon. Like the Pokemon Stantler who was originally inside the Johto region, it now has an evolution and it becomes a dual psychic type in Pokemon now. But you also get to ride it around and it looks really cute. You're just riding on the top of this deer. And also, they gave us which was another lackluster Pokemon. A lot of people called it annoying. But the Pokemon is Basculin. But now it becomes part ghost. So it's a water ghost type. And how it becomes its evolution is all of the Basculin who die inside the school of the because you know that fish, they swim in schools.
Yeah.
So all the Pokemon who die all of the Basculin who die inside the school as they're swimming upriver, it gains the power from all of the dead ones.
Kind of morbid, but I guess that's Pokemon.
I mean, it is Pokemon. Pokemon is relentlessly morbid. Some of their entries are, oh boy. But I feel that is for another, maybe a Pokemon special podcast.
Definitely.
But I'm fascinated with how this Legend of Arceus is going to be. I don't want to get my hopes up, and I don't want to get hyped for it because I know it's not going to be what everyone wants it to be because everyone has different expectations. All I want is just to go around, catch Pokemon, see if there's shiny Pokemon. One thing which they didn't show off, and I'm really concerned about why they didn't show it off, and I don't know whether it's now been changed, but on their first ever trailer last year, or the year before last year, they showed off a blue Rhyhorn, and I pointed it out on Twitter, and people was like, "Oh yeah, wait, yes, there is a blue Rhyhorn. Maybe a different form, maybe maybe a evolution. It's not the shiny version, but now we don't see this Rhyhorn, so I don't know what they've done. I don't know whether they switched it, but there was a blue Rhyhorn inside the first ever trailer.
It'll be like a big final surprise when the game comes out.
I don't know, because that's kind of a lackluster surprise, a different Rhyhorn, an ice version of a Rhyhorn. I'd rather I'm not sorry for everyone who loves Rhyhorn. There's now people going to be writing angry letters. We actually, dear T, on the Webleedpixel podcast, we love Rhyhorn. Like, I'm not, there's nothing against Rhyhorn, but a bit lackluster to have a Rhyhorn as the massive, like, way.
You've just created our first haters.
I have. I'm sorry, Rhyhorn lovers. But, like, it's cool because you're tasked with researching the very first ever Pokedex. So you get to create the first Pokedex. And that's fantastic. I mean, obviously they're not going to let us put in the actual Pokedex, when you register a Pokemon to the Pokedex, it gives you, like, information about the Pokemon. Obviously, we're not going to get to do that because people can put up stupid things in it.
Yes. We know people.
Yes, people are people. So, and then you'll get a bunch of Karens complain to the Game Freak about it.
Of course.
But that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Just being excited about Pokemon. As well as, normal things.
Are there release dates?
The release date is the 28th of January next year for Pokemon Legend of Arceus. And I
that's
think
exciting.
Pokemon Brilliant Pearl and Shine and Diamond, again, probably said them completely the wrong way around. That is November the 19th, I think, or November the 22nd. I'm too.
That's coming up.
I got too excited. Yeah, that's soon. The one thing which I will mention about Pokemon Brilliant Pearl and Shine and Diamond is they've gave you this underground area where it's it's a place to get certain types of Pokemon. Depending on what, like, you can get a secret base in there, and depending on what statues you put of Pokemon inside your secret base, those kinds of, like, it will change what Pokemon are in the underground. So that's really exciting. I just hope that they add in the Wonder Trade still, because I love me a Wonder Trade. But they have added, like, new things in. I mean, you can now, this is exciting, this is what we've always asked for as Pokemon fans from Game Freak. We want to be able to see our Pokemon behind us, and now finally our Pokemon can come out of their Pokeballs and follow us.
Ooh, just a trail of Pokemon behind
No, only
you.
one. Goodness.
Oh, still cute.
Like, yeah, 6 Pokemon behind you. If that was true, I'd get 6 Magikarpses and just let them splash around behind me.
Oh,
But no,
that's cool though.
that's what I'm excited for. So expect some more news when we get it on Pokemon Brilliant Pearl and Shine and Diamond and Pokemon Legend of Arceus.
Well, while you were doing Pokemon things, I watched the Indie World Nintendo Switch, I guess, showcase
Ooh, a lot of
thing.
Nintendo news.
Yes. It is indie. I know so many people in the like chat were just like going on and on about like, oh, where's this? Where's this? And it's like, and then you have the other half of people being like, shut up, it's indie. Like these are the indie games. You're not seeing any news on,
The
I don't
next
know, Animal
Mario or
Crossing, any news on like any big games. It was all indie stuff. I just had a few that I thought were so like cute and interesting. There's this one called Toem, Toem,
that's
and it's
cute. That's a
like,
cute name.
yeah, it's just this cute, like chill little like black and white like picture game. Like you just go around and like take pictures of things. You're like a little photographer and like yeah, there's like quests and things, but like your whole thing is that you just kind of like go around in this black and white world taking pictures. It just seems so cute. That comes out this fall. They didn't give any month, date, anything. Just fall 2021.
I don't like
Um
when devs do that. I get why, because then if there's any, like, delays or anything, they don't need to tell us so that it's been delayed.
We see you, Cyberpunk.
Take note, Cyberpunk.
I get it, but it is frustrating when it's like, well, fall, that could be
That's like
like
anything.
any of 3 months.
No,
Like,
no, no. Some people even put, because we had this discussion last time, some people even put fall as, like, say, November, or like the game will come out in December.
yeah, I mean, honestly, it could be any time between now and November. But it looks so cute, so I guess be on the lookout for any kind of release date for Toem. Another one was Far Changing Tides, and it's like a post-apocalyptic exploring game. And you have like this like big ship that you are on and like sailing to different places. Um, but it's post apocalyptic, so like everything is kind of like in ruins or
Just like
whatever.
dark and
That
dreary.
it kind of it was like, but it was cute. It was like dark and dreary in like a very cute way. It wasn't like, oh wow, this like world looks depressing. Like it wasn't like a Wall-E world. It was like just it was still cute, even though it's like, oh yeah, something happened and the world is kind of a mess and like so now we like this ship is our home, but it was like super cute still. And that one comes out early next year, so early 2022.
Oh, yeah. So that'll be. So I'm guessing that that the release date they probably put as Q1 2022.
I think so,
That's like
yeah.
the first quarter. See,
Mhm.
I don't like it when people complain about indie games. I really enjoy indie games. Like especially nowadays, indie games have been the really big sellers. Like, you can keep all of your AAA titles and, all of your CODs and all of your Cyberpunks and all these other AAA titles, because indie games sometimes are the best kind of games. You look at Stardew Valley, indie title. You look at RimWorld, or you look at that Valheim.
Mm-hmm.
You look at all of these titles which took the the gamer population by storm, and they were indie titles. They weren't next AAA titles. They were indie titles.
I may be wrong in saying this, but it seems like indie titles have had a huge come up over the past few years, because I feel like all the rage was AAAs, and then we're kind of just seeing that AAAs aren't all that.
I can't actually
Like
remember last time I brought a AAA title, because
they just
because you can say, but you brought them because because you got the PlayStation. But no, I didn't actually purchase those AAA titles. I got them for free.
yeah, just so much love
And I
and
don't
care
even
and
buy. Sorry, but I don't even buy AAA titles now at full price. I don't. It's very rarely that I would buy a AAA title full price now. I wait for half the year to play it.
there's almost no point, because you get a AAA and it's so buggy, or there's still so many problems that don't get fixed for until an update, or until
Till 6 months
I don't know,
time. It's like
yeah,
when
DLC
I
comes out, or
It's like when I said to you, like it was, oh, what game? I brought a game, and then he's like, oh, are you gonna play it? Like, are you excited to play it? I said, yeah, I'll be excited to play it in about 6 months' time, when it's a finished product.
mm-hmm.
But
But
right now, it's just sat there.
so
Resident
much
Evil 8,
love.
that was the last AAA title which I brought, Resident Evil 8, and it was actually fantastic.
Yeah,
That
it
was a
just seems like
game which was perfect. I didn't have any flaws or any bugs whatsoever. It was just perfect.
yeah. It's just so much love and care and attention goes into indie games.
And you can see it.
I I know that they're smaller companies, so it may be easier to you know, get some feedback and then work on that feedback. I mean, look at you can tweet at um I don't know his name, the Stardew Valley guy,
Oh,
and
Concerned Ape.
yeah, and he's on it. And I understand that's one person as opposed to a whole company. It's way easier, maybe
I mean,
assuming.
yeah, but
But
you look at Sunhaven. Sunhaven came out, and I know, and I tweeted at them and said, "Hey, is there any chance that we can get a map or a mini map of any kind? Because I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going." Immediately, they was like, "Yep, we're on that. People have asked us about it, and we're gonna put it into a update for everyone." Like,
yeah, seems
whereas
like
you
with
tweet
AAAs,
at, say, like FIFA or someone, they're like, "Huh, we've already got your money. See you next year, fools."
yeah. Or it's kind of like the generic oh, okay, we're working on some things, not
No, no,
specifically
or it's
the issues
a
that people are talking about,
dear
but we're working on
consumer,
some
we
things.
appreciate your feedback. Here at EA, we appreciate the feedback of which you have given us. Thanks
Mhm.
for continuing to support our products.
We definitely like AAA titles. I mean, I play them, I like them.
Oh no,
I've asked you to play them.
I
It's
adore
just
AAA titles, but
there's a
there's
big
a
difference
yeah, there's a massive difference
in
in customer care
yeah,
and
definitely.
consumer care. Like, because you look at because it's like, you can flip it, because on the other end there are some indie titles and some indie devs who really don't care for their consumers. They've got what they needed and then they're out. That's it. See ya.
I just feel like there's been a huge shift where indie games are
Indie is
really
in.
coming up. Yeah,
Indie is in.
people are really loving their indie games. So even though so many people in the comments were like, "Give us an Animal Crossing update," I think that a lot of people were really excited to see these indie games. Some were
It's always like hit and
just
miss watching indie shows. Because there'd be
yeah,
stuff which you're really gonna look forward to, and then there's stuff which you'd be like, I don't really care about that.
yeah. I mean, some of them were things that are already games, like Astroneer is coming to Switch.
Hmm.
So some of them were you know, that's not an older game, but some were older games and they're just like coming back onto Switch, or it's like an update or something. But some of them were really good. Like there's another one called Garden Story. I have nothing to say on it, but it's cute grapes. That's it. Cute
Cute
game. It's
grapes.
grapes. Cute grapes. They like
that's
they were
that's the thing. It's just it's grapes. Get it?
yeah, you're just these little I don't know if you are the grapes or if the grapes are just there, but there's just these adorable little grapes
Their
in this
faces.
garden. Yes. Like they were like uh yeah, little like personality grapes with faces and everything. They were so cute and it sold me. That was my only note, cute grapes, because I was sold after seeing their cute little face. That was
V's
one. I don't
notebook
remember
is just garden. Wait, what's it called?
Garden Story.
V's notebook is just garden story. Grape, 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 grape. It's just
um
cute grapes, personality grapes. Buy it now.
I don't remember what it's called. Something a timed release or something. I don't know. But
Ooh.
that one released on that day. So August 11th is when this showcase happened. So that day is when that game released.
Ooh. But that's not the grape game, no?
No, that is
Oh,
cute grape game. Garden Story. Garden Story is the name of it. We can't just keep calling it cute grape name. Released, I think timed release. I don't know. On August 11th.
nice. Yeah, so it'll be a timed exclusive.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And I think the last bit of news coming into it would be Halo Infinite not going to have a co-op mode at launch, or Forge, which is that's gonna ruin the actual launch of Halo. Like, a lot of people will say, oh, I'll still buy it, but a lot of people buy Halo for the Forge mode and for the co-op campaign, because I know that I would have loved to play through the campaign, say with like Axu or with like you. Now it's not going to happen, not for a couple of months.
Forge.
You what? Sorry.
What is Forge?
Forge, it's a creation tool which like Fortnite has their own little like creation thing. Forge is
Yeah.
like the original Fortnite creation. It's where you get like, say, this big old map and you get to create your own custom maps. You get to create like, just some people create absolute masterpieces on it, and it won't be inside the game until season 3 at the earliest. That's 6 months after launch. That is a long time for a mode which has been inside most of the Halo games at launch, if not all of them. I'm not really sure because I'm not a massive Halo person, but I just feel as if it's like, hello, like you're gonna miss out on a lot of things, because a lot of people love doing their custom maps and their custom work inside Halo.
So, and you're saying that will really affect the, I guess, release or like people's interest, because that was a huge thing that everyone was into.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. It'll completely that will really hurt sales, just because like it is it's two much loved modes like to play of Halo, and they've been delayed. Like a campaign co-op, that's not going to hit until season 2 at the earliest. So that's 3 months. So you can't play the campaign with your friends for 3 months. Unless that's
Annoying.
I don't know whether that will be just fully online campaign co-op, or whether that's a co-op where you can, where you sit on the couch and you play with each other. But imagine there's achievement, like imagine the people who were going after achievements for the game. There's going to be achievements for co-op. Not going to happen unless they're going to add them in afterwards. But a lot of games add the achievements in, and then even if the mode's not there, the achievement's there. And then you got Forge, which again, that's a much loved, mode. You ain't gonna get it for 6 months.
They're leaving those achievements in for game modes that aren't even in
I'm not
the
sure.
game.
I don't know. I'm not like saying that that's fact, but normally companies leave in achievements for game modes which aren't even there yet, because they need it, because they need to get it to the 1000. There was a game, I don't know the game off by heart, but there was a game of which they had the achievements were in it, but you couldn't unlock them yet. I
Weird.
know that Skyrim had some achievements when they remastered Skyrim for the first time. there was achievements which they had in it, which they wouldn't unlock yet because they didn't put in the right patch. They literally released it as the day one release where the achievements wouldn't unlock. So then you had to wait a couple of weeks for a patch to come through to then get those achievements unlocked. I'm wondering, because Skyrim's being remastered again, everyone. If you didn't know, Skyrim is getting another edition. It's the anniversary edition. I think that's what it's called, the anniversary edition, because it's been 10 years since we first laid foot in Skyrim. You can fish. That's it. That's your update. Fish.
Fishing.
That's it. Todd Howard spent 10 years thinking, how can we make Skyrim even better? Fish. Every game needs a fish mode. Imagine like Forza. You just get out of your car mid through the race, pop up your trunk, get your fishing pole out and just go whoop and cast off into the river. You're like, co-driver's like, what are you doing? Catching a bass here, mate. What I'm doing.
I mean, that's what Valhalla thought. Never mind, being an assassin. No, assassinating fish.
Yeah, cast off. Final Fantasy 15 has fishing in it. But that also has cooking and taking photos.
You heard it here first, folks. Fishing is the new thing in games.
Not that there's not much fish in Skyrim, to be fair. Like, you can jump into a river or a lake or the ocean inside Skyrim, and you can pick up one of 3 fish. Great. There's probably more fish in there, but I didn't really think fishing would be my thing, would be my forte, which I would want to do in Skyrim.
Unless those kids trick you into fishing.
Oh my days, yes. Or, yeah, but imagine it, like, you're sat there, you're fishing away, and this dragon comes down. You're like, hold on a minute, big boy. I've got to catch
wait,
you.
Sir, I have to catch fish.
I've got a fish on my line. Chill out.
Not right now, mud crab. I got fish to catch.
Oh, that would be annoying. You're trying to fish, and there's like umpteen dozen mud crabs keep popping out of the river. And you're like, why? Or bandits come up and they're like, you shouldn't have. Oh, this is a bad time to get lost. I'm not lost. I'm fishing. Leave me be. My little character Fiona's going to be sitting there trying to fish, and like all these things are coming at her. No, but
well, she gets for being a magic ogre.
Yeah, or orc. But no, yeah. Well, I'm gonna get it.
Magic orc.
I'm gonna get it. I'm a sheep. We're all sheeps. We all go bah. I'm gonna get the Skyrim Anniversary Edition. Todd will take my money once again for Skyrim. Hey Todd, if you ever listen, please make Elder Scrolls 6, or just make it for me.
Just for tea.
Just for tea. Yeah, but that's my news of the last 2 weeks. Pokemon, Halo, Elder Scrolls.
And that was my news. Just the indie
Grapes.
world. Yes, grapes. Cute grapes. That's all we need to know.
Just grapes.
But next up, we have our guest
Ooh,
from Power to the People.
Drum roll, please.
We're very excited about this interview and the game. It sounds really cool.
I can't wait.
And
I need it. I need it installed on my computer immediately.
So we are here to give you all the information on Power to the People. Up next with our guest this week. All right, now we have the dev from Power to the People with us. Can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, well, thank you very much for having me here. Yeah, my name is Federico. I'm the main developer and creator of the original concept for Power to the People. Yeah, I have been working on games since maybe 5 years ago or so. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to have the opportunity to tell you guys a bit more about the game and what we're doing and what our future plans are.
I know that I'm really excited about Power to the People. I cannot wait to just get my teeth into it. I will probably lose streams because I'll be too busy playing Power to the People.
I'm really hoping that will be the case.
Or, if I can, I will probably stream Power to the People.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be lots of fun. And we're always looking forward to seeing people play our game and share their experience with others.
Nothing about it. Is there anything that you can tell us about it, like a little synopsis of the game?
Oh yes, of course. Power to a People is a game about building and managing a power grid for a group of cities that are always growing and always demanding more and more electricity. So you constantly have to upgrade and expand your infrastructure. So it's a classic resource management game in that sense. So it's not a city builder because the cities are developing by themselves. But what you need to do is constantly try to keep the power delivery running smoothly so these cities can grow and develop and function. So you will have a set of tools at your disposal, like power plants and substations, energy storage facilities, power lines, and so on. So in the end, it's about building the best possible layout to deliver power in an efficient, cost-effective, and reliable way to these cities.
How big can the city get? Is it like does it start off as, say, like a small little town and it just becomes into, like, say, a metropolis?
Yeah, exactly. At the start of the game, you will only have one small town in the center of the map, and then that will slowly turn from that into a city, from that into a metropolis, and also new cities will start spawning in different points in the map, which in turn they will also grow. So the challenge will accelerate in a bit of an exponential way almost.
Oh, so the stress levels will be like, ah.
Yeah, that's exactly what our aim was from the very first moment we started working on the game. The idea has always been to create a fast-paced experience where you are eventually overrun by this explosive growth around you, and at some point you cannot keep things running smoothly any longer, and then you lose. So in that sense, I think it will be a very thrilling experience for players.
Because like, it's a amazing new concept on city building where you don't actually build the city builds around you and you just have to maintain the power supply.
Exactly, it's a bit of a twist in the classic city builder genre. I think there are not many games that are focusing on providing services to cities instead of building the cities themselves.
Yeah, no, yeah, like there ain't, like, I've not heard or seen any. That's what I think really drew me to it and really made me, like, so excited to play it, because it's a completely different twist on the whole, hey, build a city, but instead it's like, nah, the city's building itself. You've just got to maintain that power for that city.
Yeah, exactly. It ends up being mostly about managing these resources more than creating beautiful cities. It's mostly about efficiency, and almost you could say it's almost about engineering in a way.
Sounds really cool. It's like literally bringing power to the people. I like it.
Yeah, actually, we had tons of fun when choosing the name because of this sort of wordplay we created. And I think we had like 10 different candidates for names for the game, but this one is the one we liked the best, and we just couldn't resist going forward with this silly pun in the name.
No, puns are amazing. As someone who is a lover of pun, I appreciate it. What other kind of names did you come up with?
Oh, now I cannot really remember anymore. Remember we had like sort of a shared document where we were throwing ideas around. And Power to the People, I think, was the first one. And then even though we came up with many more afterwards, that's the one that ended up sticking.
See, I'm terrible for naming stuff. Like, I will literally just look around whatever room I'm in and be like, city power grid.
Well, I think we were playing like mostly with ideas about concepts related to electricity. So names like, let's say, current affairs, or maybe
Ooh.
some puns with using the word "what." So like, "what a disaster," or "whatever it takes," and stuff like that. Better late than never. I don't know. We were trying around many different puns.
I'm glad all that power
Very
to the
pun
people.
forward.
Yeah, but I'm glad all that power to the people became the name.
Yeah, I think it works really well. Might not be the perfect name if you want the game to be easily found on a Google search or stuff like that. But we believe it's very catchy in its own right.
No, yeah, it is. It's very catchy, and it.
What was?
No, go on. Sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to know what the inspiration was for the game.
I don't think I could pinpoint one single source of inspiration. On one hand, even since I was a kid, I have always been kind of obsessed with city builders. I remember playing SimCity 2000 back in the day, stuff like that. And I have always had a thing for the resource management and the city builder genres in general. And then I think that combined with a bit of my love or my passion for everything that's technical or everything that's related to engineering and electronics and stuff like that, I think it ended up being almost a natural thing to happen. But I cannot really say that, oh yeah, I had that one moment when I had the idea. I don't know, I hit my head on a shelf and then it occurred to me, or something like that. I think it was kind of like a natural process almost, based on my own interests and the kind of games that I enjoy playing.
Yeah, so it's more like one inspiration part. It wasn't just I like to play city building games, so I made a city building game. It was a lot of different aspects all into one.
Yeah, exactly. I think that power grids in general are fascinating to me. There are some people that say that power grids are the biggest machines in the world because they are these massive interconnected systems. And I think they are extremely interesting. It's extremely interesting to learn about them and how they work. So I think that's what ended up being one of the triggers, combined with my love for the city building genre.
Yeah, I mean, without power, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, exactly. Our lives would be little bit different.
Yeah, very different. How did you get into becoming a game dev?
In a way, I would say that's what brought me closer to software development in the first place. I have always been fascinated with games, even since I was very, very small. And my first approach to writing code has been because I wanted to make my own games as a little kid. Of course, I weren't particularly good, but then after some time, I ended up getting a career in web development. I think I've been working doing web development for almost a decade. And at some point, I decided to get back into what I really wanted to do, which has always been to make games. So more or less 5 years ago, I switched from web development to trying to start making my own games because I had some savings around. So I thought, okay, it's a kind of like a now or never situation.
Yeah.
And that's when I made the switch.
Point when you started working on Power to the People?
I started working on it roughly 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Was a few months after releasing my previous game. That was this resource management / puzzle game called Automa Chef. So yeah, probably started working on it in early 2020 or maybe late 2019 or something like that.
Is there a small team with you, like who help work on the game, or is it a sole project?
I am taking the role of lead developer, and I'm wearing many different hats. So I am in charge of 100% of the programming, for example, and most of the game design. But we are a small team. We have a couple of 3D artists, a 2D artist, a couple of sound designers, a composer, and so on. But in the end, in a way, I'm the one who's taking all that work and putting it all together into the game.
Yeah. What can players expect from Power to the People?
Well, as I've said before, one of our main goals was providing this fast-paced, thrilling experience where everything is kind of falling apart around you and you have to fix things and upgrade things. So this kind of fast-paced action is one of the core things that you can expect from the game. You can also expect lots of replayability because cities are being procedurally generated and no two playthroughs will be the same, and you have all these different strategies that you can try. You can try focusing more on renewable energy or trying to focus more on just using fossil fuels because they are maybe a bit simpler or cheaper to set up, even though they end up being bad in the long term. So you have all these different ways to play and all these different levels, and with cities being randomly generated, I think you can also expect lots of replayability from it. And particularly if you are bold enough to try out the hardest difficulty settings, then you will encounter some very, very challenging gameplay as well.
Yeah, no, I'll be sticking to the easy settings, please, for a long while. So, with the fossil fuels, will they is there a chance that they can run out?
Not at the moment, because we're not actually focusing on where the fuel comes from. But in a way, they end up being bad in the long term, as they have higher operating costs per megawatt hour, and they generate a larger area around them that's making people unhappy, in the sense that no one wants to live next door to a coal-fired power plant.
Yeah.
So they have their own drawbacks. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I said understandably that no one wants to live near a coal-like power plant or anything like that.
So that's also one of the elements in the game. Each building you are placing on the map has what's called a NIMBY radius, so a not in my backyard radius. So everyone who's living in this area of influence will be unhappy because they're close to this power plant or this substation or whatever. So that's also a bit of a delicate balance that you have to achieve while playing.
Yeah.
You cannot place things too far from cities because otherwise you're going to spend a fortune on power lines and the transmission is less efficient. You also cannot place things too close to the cities because then everyone is going to start complaining.
So there's got to be some perfect in the middle, because I know that with me playing games like that, I will put everything miles away from the city and then wonder why I'm broke.
Yeah, you're going to run out of money very, very soon. But you can always take some loans and then you can figure things out in the future.
Ooh. I can see a lot of game over screens coming from my end. You've run the city into the ground. How dare you?
Sorry, your city's broke. Game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment, the way the game works is you need to keep customer satisfaction above a certain level. If people don't have power or power infrastructure is too close to their homes, they're going to start complaining. Your customer satisfaction is going to start dropping. And if you go under a 50% approval rating, then you are fired, and that was it for you.
Ooh. So there's not just the stress of making sure that the power has enough of the power, that the city has enough power, but it's also making sure that the people themselves are happy around the power grids and around the power plants and
Yeah, exactly. In the end, it's about providing power to the people, or otherwise people are going to take the power back from you.
Oh, I think you had just mentioned another game before this one. Can you talk a little bit about that game or like any other projects and games that you've worked on before this?
Yes, absolutely. Power to the People is the third game I'm working on. I published Automa Chef in 2019. That one was released both in Nintendo Switch and PC in collaboration with Team 17.
Oh,
It
nice.
was. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I said, oh, nice.
Oh yes, yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure working with the people from Team 17, and it's a resource management game where you have to build automated kitchens to create food, using all these different types of machines in your kitchen. So you have conveyor belts and grills and ovens and food processors and whatnot, and you have to build a production line kind of setup to produce stuff like burgers or hot dogs or whatever. So that was a lot of fun as well. It was a very fun project to work on, and also it's been super exciting to work with the people from Team 17. And then there was the very first game I developed and published. That was self-published, and it was pretty much a solo development, almost entirely, which was a trading game called Winds of Trade, where you are running a sailing ship company in the 18th century, and you have to go with your ships from one city to another, buying and selling goods and smuggling illegal goods and stuff like that.
Oh. So I from the one which you mentioned, which is on the Switch and PC, I know that as soon as I say that to my housemate, she is going to find it and she is going to buy it because she loves
Yes.
anything to do with kitchen games.
I definitely thought of her.
Yeah, so so there might be a sale like later on today where she will purchase it.
Okay, yeah, that's this is direct marketing at work then. That sounds perfect. Yeah, it's called Automa Chef, and especially for people who love either puzzles or food, I think it's a perfect game. And if you like both, even better.
Yep, that's her in a nutshell. She'd be like, "Why have you not told me this before?"
Yeah, we may be able to have some kind of way to get those games linked in the description when this comes out.
Yes, I will make a note of it, and I will ask XiphodiusTV and the people at Webleedpixels to link everything down below.
Oh, okay, sounds fantastic. Let me know if you need any kind of information about the games or.
Yeah, no, yeah, thank
stuff like
you. For any future game devs out there, what would be a tip that you could give them?
That is a very good question. I think that my main tip would be to start small, because I think it's very, very easy to get caught up in a weird mind loop of wanting to make a game that's massive and extremely complex. And then in the end, you never are able to finish it. And then you quit and you get frustrated and you think, oh, maybe this is not for me. So I would encourage people who want to get into it to start small, to start with a very, very small scope, with a realistic project that you can complete maybe in just a few months. So you can at least get feel for it, and you can start developing some of your skills. Because otherwise you're probably going to end up frustrated, saying, okay, I'm going to create single-handedly, just by myself, the next World of Warcraft, and it's not going to happen. So I think that keeping your expectations a bit more realistic, starting with a game that's small in scope, can have some new untested game mechanics. You can be as creative as you want, do weird things, as long as you try to keep the scope at a reasonable level. I think that would be a good starting tip for people who want to test out the water.
Yeah, instead of just like diving in and be like, I'm gonna create the next Elder Scrolls or the next Witcher. Just start small and then, or would it be a thing to start small but aim big, like in your head, like have a mindset of where you would like to go, but
Yeah, and you can also do that, of course.
yeah, but just be
you
realistic.
can have a long-term idea of the direction in which you want to go, but you still need to set some milestones that are not 10 years into the future.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it becomes very frustrating, I think.
Do you have a idea of where you would like to go, like for like a future?
We have actually started playing around with some different ideas. We are pretty sure now that we are working better as a team and we are finding our own way to do things. We are pretty sure that we want our next game to be a bit bigger in scope.
Yeah.
In terms of amount of content and the complexity of the mechanics and the production quality as well. So we definitely want to grow, but we also want to take things a bit in a calm way. So not going from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds.
Yeah, so more like a realistic approach of how to build instead of just being like, doing this, it's gonna make it massive. There you go, done.
Yeah, exactly. We are not aiming to saying our next game is going to be a AAA game or something along those lines. But we want to slowly grow in terms of the complexity and the amount of content and the quality of our games, slowly, steadily over time.
Yeah, I mean,
we are a bit more looking long term in that sense.
Yeah, from your Twitter page, it is looking fantastic. Like every time I see a tweet, I'm like, I want it now, please, just give me product. So honestly, from the advertising and like social media point of view, you're killing it.
Yeah, I actually been getting some people just posting this image of Fry in Futurama saying, "Shut up and take my money." So that's a good sign as well.
No, yeah, definitely.
For Power to the People, will there be a port to console?
At the moment, we're not expecting that. I think it will have to do with how much interest there is. If the community is showing a strong interest in having a console version, we might consider it, but it's not in our current plans.
You hear that, people? Be interested. Get this game.
Yeah, you need to let them know in which console particularly you might be interested.
Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Because an achievement.
Yeah, that would be very, very cool, but sometimes you need also to be realistic and say, okay, how good of an idea this is, if it's going to make sense or not. There are some games that are better suited for some platforms.
Oh no, yeah. Yeah, I know that a lot of city building games are suited for PC because with the mouse and keyboard, it's a lot more easier to maneuver rather than using analog sticks.
There's something there about control systems and also the types of games that people prefer in one platform or another. When we ended up releasing Automashift in the Switch, to start with, I honestly was a bit skeptical. I wasn't sure if that kind of game would work nicely in the Switch, mostly because of controls. But it ended up going really, really well. It ended up being a very smart move for us.
That's good then. It's nice when it like pays off, because I know that there's some games which I played on controller and I've played it on mouse and keyboard, and it works so much better with mouse and keyboard rather than trying to maneuver like with 2 analog sticks.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to Power to the People, we have built controller support from the ground up. So even if it ends up being on PC only, we still have a very solid way to play the game using either an Xbox or PlayStation controller.
Which is
always... So in the case we wanted to port the game in some future point, it's going to be a lot easier as well.
That's always great to hear, because I know there's some people who play PC, and they wish that this game, like other games would be controller supported, but a lot of them aren't. So then it stops them from wanting to enjoy the game, because I know there's some people who can't get their head around mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are
it's
trying to give people as many options as possible.
yeah, which is really nice to see. Like game devs like allowing everyone to want to enjoy their game.
Precisely, and we got so much feedback because we released a demo in the Steam Next Fest. It was almost, I think, like 2 months ago now, and a whole bunch of the feedback we got was, I really wish that this or that thing was customizable. I really wish that you could adjust the level of camera shake, or that you could adjust this or that. So we have been listening a lot in that sense to try to make the game please as many different playing styles as possible.
Yeah, which again is amazing, because there's some devs who don't really listen to a lot of what their audience is telling them until like later on. So it's really nice to have some devs who like feedback and want and actually make, like, say, the feedback which people give them happen in their game.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, absolutely. We are trying to put as much effort as we can on doing that. When we released the demo, we suddenly had lots of posts on the Steam discussion forums, and people joining our Discord, and people providing feedback on Twitter. So we have been doing our very best to try to listen to everyone and see, okay, what are the things that people would appreciate if we were to change them. And at that point, I think the biggest issue was that ended up being this massive discussion in the Steam forums, was that some people believe that you should be able to pause the game and then build up your infrastructure and place buildings and plan your things, taking all the time in the world. And some people were saying, no, but that would defeat the purpose of the game. That's
Yeah,
supposed to be very fast-paced and supposed to be a bit of a thrilling experience.
Yeah, like, wouldn't that take away the whole point of, you're meant to be a little bit under stressed, because you have, because I guess that's how it would be inside the real world. Like, power flows all the time, and we can't just pause real life and build a power plant.
Yeah, exactly. And when things start falling apart in real life, there's usually also a domino effect.
Yeah.
When a part of the infrastructure fails, and it starts bringing down some other parts of the infrastructure as well. So that's one of the things we also wanted to reflect with Power to the People.
Plus, that's also
we had this massive discussion online with different people who had different approaches of how this type of game should be played. So in the end, we ended up deciding to offer 2 different game modes.
Okay.
And where you will be allowed to pause the game and build up your infrastructure, but only once a day, once the day is over.
Ooh.
And another mode, which we're probably going to call the high energy mode or something along those lines, where the time is always flowing and there's no stopping it.
That's really incredible to have like 2 different modes, of where if you want to pause it, you can pause it. But then if you don't, because I feel like a game like Power to the People, a lot of the fun is going to be trying to manage the city and being stressed, instead of like, hey, let me just quickly pause it for a second and then de-stress myself and just build the city around, and then like build the power around and then unpause.
Yeah, so we want to provide both possibilities to players who enjoy having their time to plan and making things very efficient, and also provide a good experience to players who prefer something that's a bit more fast-paced.
Yeah, so you're
Which is the way in which we originally intended the game to be, honestly.
Yeah, so you're providing for every type of like consumer.
Yes.
What would be a game or a project which you would love to work on, say, for the future, or that you would have loved to work on which has already happened?
That is a difficult question to answer, but I think that something that would make me very, very happy personally is being able to work on trying to bring back some of the things I enjoyed when I was a child. Some of these games that I was absolutely obsessed with. If I don't mean it necessarily as in sequels, but stuff that takes those concepts and takes those feelings and those experiences and tries to bring them back using the technology and the usability from the 21st century into them. So taking some of these 90s games and try to make spiritual successors to them in a way.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I would enjoy immensely. Because when I was a kid, I was obsessed with games. I don't know, like most people, I think, with Roller Coaster Tycoon and Theme Hospital and
Theme Hospital
all
was
the
amazing
SimCities.
back in the day.
Sorry?
Oh, Theme Hospital was amazing back in the day.
Yes,
I know that
was...
there's 2 Point Hospital now, but it still doesn't beat Theme Hospital.
Yeah, I've been playing a whole bunch of 2 Point Hospital as well, and I think it captures this kind of funny and bit of almost like inappropriate humor experience that you got when playing Theme Hospital. I think that's captured almost perfectly. So that's a good spiritual successor, I think. So working on a project of that kind, that would be amazing, I think.
Yeah.
What are you most excited for the release of Power to the People?
I think that every single time one releases a new game, there's always this almost nerve-wracking expectation saying, okay, what's going to happen? Are people going to enjoy it or not? Are people going to keep back and keep playing the game and get 100 hours or 200 hours in the game? I think that's always the most interesting part when releasing a game, just seeing how the audience reacts to it. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. That's what I'm mostly looking forward to.
What about the most nervous part of releasing a game?
I think that there's always this fear that you have that people will somehow, maybe probably because it's your own fault. I mean, if most people don't get it in a way, then it's probably your own fault. So I think that's the part that's always a bit in the back of your head, just saying maybe people won't like it or people won't get it and they won't see the point to it. And then if it's something that's happening at a very deep level, then there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
You can release a game that maybe has some bugs or that, I don't know, crashes on some systems or has some performance issues, or all of that can be fixed in future patches and updates, and then you're going to be fine. But I think that if the core mechanics and the main concept are failing and they're not getting through to people, either because they're flawed or because you are not able to communicate them properly, I think that's the biggest fear.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can see that. That would be a massive thing of just going on inside your head.
So yeah, it's always very exciting, but it's also very stressful to take this thing that you have been working on for years and just put it out there and see what happens.
So kind of like, because I know that myself, I was really excited and just as nervous for the podcast interview.
Oh, okay. And how's it going now?
It's really chill and relax. I don't know why, but like I just like stressing of like like just before, but I don't know why.
I think in the end we're just a bunch of people who love games, having a friendly chat. So
yeah.
No. Of course, you have more at stake here, maybe because you're probably in the process of building an audience and all of that. So I can see how it can also be a bit terrifying or stressful in a way.
Yeah.
It's a bit nerve-wracking, like, oh no, are people gonna like us? Are they gonna listen? Are they gonna hate our voices or whatever, or not like what we have to say, but you still just have to like put it out there.
I don't know, at least from my side, you are getting 2 thumbs up. I think the questions are super interesting, and in a way they're also useful to me, because it forces me to do some introspection and see where I stand and put things a bit in order in my own head. So I'm having a lot of fun, actually.
Thank you. I'm having a
When-
I'm having a blast as well. Like and it's nice to get to find out more about Power to People from the dev. Instead of like reading it on Twitter and looking at the GIFs and the little like screenshots, it's just like, please give me.
Yeah, getting it straight from the source is really nice.
And of course, there are some things that just surface as you're having a conversation like this. There's some things that are not part of the usual marketing material, so to speak.
Yeah.
That might surface stuff like what are the sources of inspiration or things along those lines.
So with all that being said, when can we expect, if there's a release date, for people to play Power to the People?
At the moment, we are aiming to release early next year. Our original plan was to aim for later in 2021. But we have decided to leave it a bit longer in the oven, so to speak. We're going to have a definite, concrete release date very likely next week. So you need to stay tuned for that. But for now, I can confidently say
That's fine.
But the concrete release date will probably be announced next week.
Should people be watching your Twitter for that update?
Yes, of course. We are on Twitter. That's probably our main communication channel at the moment, which is PTTP Game on Twitter. And then you are, of course, more than welcome to join our Discord if you want to interact with us and have a chat. You are, of course, more than welcome here.
Yes, please. Yes. Link me your Discord and excuse me, and then I will join immediately. Be like,
sounds fantastic. And of course, wishlist the game on Steam, so you can also stay tuned there. And we are frequently posting development updates as well, so sharing what we've been working on and what new things we're adding to the game and stuff like that. And those ones are usually being posted to Steam.
Yeah. I know that. I don't. It's like now a ritual to load up my computer, check Steam, check the wish list, just in case. You never know.
Yes.
If you can tell us, is there anything which you're working on besides Power to the People? Because I know that you said previously that you are looking at developing a bigger, more complex game. Is there a little sneaky hint? Or is it just...
Yeah, not at the moment. For the time being, I am 100% focused on getting Power to the People out there, and I think that we are not going to be working on anything new, at least for the next few months. We are just playing around with some ideas of what we might want to do next. They're just ideas. There's not even like we're working on a GDD or like a game design document or anything like that. So yeah, for the moment it's 100% Power to the People.
Ooh,
Maybe
really?
keeping an eye out for Power to the People and also any future projects.
Yeah, and with Power to the People, can people expect updates? Say, like, not obviously monthly updates, but like, is there any like update which, say, if you wanted to bring in a new like kind of power source or a futuristic power source or create your own power?
Yes, we definitely are going to be releasing some post-release updates because there are so many different technologies out there that are related to power generation. So we definitely want to keep expanding the game with new types of power generation, also including new levels, because even right now we have levels that in all different continents, so we have levels all over the world. We want to keep expanding that as well. So I think that in terms of post-release updates, those are going to be the two main areas where we are going to be focusing.
Yeah, because I know that with some games it's just really sad where you really enjoy a game and then that's it. Like the devs just stop working on that game. You're like, but what about post content?
Yeah, and sometimes you are left, a bit wanting for more, and it's a bit disappointing. So our goal is to keep updating the game and providing new content, at least for some time after release.
I guess feel free to take a little time and just tell us a little bit more and promote the game to the audience.
Yeah, like one final little shout out for you and power to the people to really just like get it out there for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for the space. So I think that mainly, I think that most people who enjoy resource management games and city builders are really going to enjoy Power to the People. So just wishlist on Steam, and we can aim for a release later in early 2022.
I know.
And yeah, the question here is do you have what it takes to keep the lights on?
Ooh, maybe. I know a lot of people who likes games like this. So I think most of them have wishlisted it, if not will wishlist it.
So yeah, please make sure to tell them about the game.
Well, I will 100%, don't worry.
Definitely.
I'll make them wishlist it. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to interview you on the Webleedpixels podcast.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you guys and tell you a bit more about this project in which we are putting our very hearts into it. So it's always a lot of fun as well to share this love of video games and of game development with other people and share experiences. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Honestly, thank you.
It's been a blast.
It's been amazing, and I am really looking forward to playing some Power to the People.
Yes, hopefully you will be able to do that very soon then. So yeah, once again, thank you and have a lovely day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. I know that we've already said it, but thank you very much again for coming on. Power to the People, early next year. Go buy it. Wishlist it and buy it.
It sounds amazing.
I need it. I'm sorry, I need it.
Everyone needs it.
I'm gonna go fly over there and just get it. No, I'm not.
If you are watching this on YouTube, we will have all of
the links yes,
in the description for the dev, the Power to the People, like all their social media, the Steam page,
and
all that good
games.
kind of information will be in the description. Yes, past games. So you can check it all out in the description on our YouTube channel. You can listen to us on the Webleedpixels site at www.webleedpixels, or if you're searching for us on YouTube, it's just Webleedpixels, no spaces. If you do spaces, weird things will come up. Please do it, no spaces.
And on Spotify, just search up Webleedpixels, and you should hear the lovely voices of T and V.
Yes, and we will be back in 2 weeks.
So have a fantastic 2 weeks. I think we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We might have a guest, we might not. Depends. There might be spoilers.
Either way, thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you very much for listening.
Remember to, if this is on YouTube, to sub so that you can always find us, and we would be back in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a good day, a good afternoon, and a good evening. Bye!
Bye!